We can post. There we go. All right. What is this? All right. So everyone, we are here today to discuss, what you've been seeing, what you've been doing, and also put you guys on a new, very strict regimen plan called my 90 by 90 plan. And I will discuss the details about that and how to implement it. And if you guys follow this, you will have business within the next 90 days. But you all have to commit. You have to be persistent and you have to commit. This is not something where, you wait around and they're like, oh, I'm not getting any business. And then think that, oh, maybe it's the brokerage I'm with and go switch brokerages or something like that. This is on you guys. Okay. The more you work, the more you talk to people, the more business you're going to get. And obviously, as you experience, it's not an overnight thing. Putting in the legwork and doing things every day just for a little bit to produce more business is going to significantly increase your chances of getting any business here, now, and in the future. So if you look at your binders, we do have pages in there that say pick your pillars. And whatever pillars you picked, I hope you've been going deep and hard on those. But if you haven't, this 90 by 90 plan will definitely kick your butt into gear and get you some more business. So right now is a very weird, scary time in real estate. And why is that? It's because all the houses are sitting. So Steph has a listing that has been sitting for a while now. I don't know how many days, but it hit the market at, what did it go to market at? 560?
575. It's been on the market probably like 60 days, 61 days now. I've price dropped it twice. We're at 540 right now and offering a seller at 4K and still nothing.
So this is the type of market that we're seeing. So, if you get sellers, your listing appointments have to include now what happens if they can't sell for that price and what time are they going to be needing to sell by? What does their timeline look like? The less the time that the seller has to sell the property, the more you have to structure the price reductions and get them mentally prepared to take less. Otherwise, you may end up with a very frustrated seller and thinking that it's you, when it's not. It's really just the market. And there are still people buying. There's a ton of people still buying. I have like 6 buyers pre-approved, ready to go right now. But what's happening now is buyers can be more picky. Okay, I have a guy who has gotten under contract with me now 4 times in the past 2 weeks, and he's backed out of all of them. It is very frustrating. And this is why they say the saying, buyers are liars. They come, they look at the house, they think they want it, and then they see another shiny object and they go that direction. So this is where you honing your sales skills down is very, very important. And I put it in the chat, but I will read it to you guys again. So when you are showing homes to clients, we have to remember that we are not just opening a door and we're not just, letting them in and letting them show themselves around. We want to get them picturing themselves living in that property. Now, if they walk in and they immediately are like, no, like, I don't like this. Like if it's more run down than the photos look like, then, you don't try to sell that to them. You're like, okay, well, the next one's going to be great. And then when you go to the next one, if they even show a little bit of interest, this is where you actually pick up on what they're showing interest in and you go deeper on it. You help them envision and dream about themselves in that property. Okay. So if you see them saying something about the kitchen, you say, oh my God, what's your favorite thing to cook? And then they say, I like cooking scallops. And they're like, oh my God, that's awesome. You say, oh, does your family help you? And like, is there enough room in this kitchen for your whole family to be cooking together? Stuff like that. Get them picturing where their pots and pans are going to go, where their equipment is going to go. They say, oh, there's room for an air fryer over here or whatever. You get them picturing their own things in that house. and you get them picturing themselves living in that house and enjoying it. Okay. And, you know, when during the pandemic, I didn't show anybody a house that wasn't pre-approved and ready to go. It's changed now. So my first meeting with people may be at a house. It may be me showing them a property. I don't have to meet them formally at the office anymore. You know, if they say, I want to see this property, I say, okay, let's go see it. And then I might say something like, okay, well, I know the seller and the seller doesn't require a pre-approval to go see it. Then when they want to see more properties, you say, hey, look, you know, we do need to prove to the seller that everybody walking through their property is somebody who is able to actually make an offer and purchase that property. So now I think it's a great time for you to get the conversation started with your lender. Are you open to entertaining a conversation with a lender? Now, your words matter in sales. And when you say, let's put in a mortgage application, to a lot of people, that's way more scary than saying, are you open to entertaining a conversation with a lender? To them, it's just a talk. Okay. And then the lender, your lender, you should have a good relationship with them. I use Natty. She's also an agent on the team. She is amazing. And she and I work very well together. We bounce ideas off each other. And if I can't get a hold of a lead that I've sent her, you know, she follows up with them, and we create this triangular edification process where I talk her up and say how amazing she is, and she talks me up and says how amazing I am. And it helps us not lose clients. So if you're not going to use one of my lenders, which is either Paul or Natty, then I do suggest you making a relationship with a lender that will do that for you. I also have a relationship with Simplify Mortgage. If you guys want to jump on that train, everything is automated through an app and everything. We can go that route. But you definitely want to, you know, get a good lender in your pocket that will help you that way. We want you to ask the clients, so where will your couch go? Oh, your couch could go here. The TV could go there. You could put ivy on a pole over there with a clock like I did in my house. You know, whatever to get them picturing themselves in the home with their kids and with their family and enjoying the space. That is what's going to sell them on it. Okay. Especially with these wishy-washy buyers these days. Okay, so let's talk about the 90 by 90 plan. Now, I want you guys to pick one pillar that you guys enjoy or that you guys have had business from before. Plane going over my house. And go deep on that. So for me, the way that I get most of my business is Facebook ads. I come from a marketing background. I had my own marketing firm. I do know how to run Facebook and Google ads, and that is what I'm good at. And I'm very good at working with cold leads in the language that I talk to them, which I've posted a bunch of my conversations in the chat about how I'm talking to leads in order to capture them. And I will continue to do that so you guys can see exactly what I'm saying. I also have a script for working with cold leads that literally I get a phone number every single time. I don't know how I made the script up, but I wrote it myself, and it's just what works for me. So when people contact me about a property that I have posted on Facebook, I say, hi, yes, it's available. Are you a first-time buyer, or do you need to sell before you move? And I have all of these things. These little scripts are typed out for like shortcuts in my phone. So for first time buyer, I just type FTB, and then I put can you guys see that? Nope, can't see it. It's a blank screen. Oh, FTB. And then if I hit the space bar, the whole message shows up. Are you a first time buyer, or do you need to sell before you move? Sorry, it's backwards. Okay, so then after they say, oh, I'm a first-time buyer, 90% of the people say I'm a first-time buyer. I have another script that I just type AAA and then space bar, and the whole thing shows up. And it says, if you've ever had, or it says, congratulations on the decision to purchase. I specialize in first-time home buyers, so I will be here to guide you each step of the way. If you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. There's no question too small or silly. The first step on the road to home ownership is going to be figuring out what your purchasing power is. This will allow us to have a guide as to what homes and price ranges to look at. Are you currently working with a lender, or would you like my guidance on how to choose one that works best for you and your financial situation? They always say, or 80% of the time they say, I don't have a lender, I would love your guidance. And that's when I have my third little script part. I put BBB, and all of these questions come up. Okay, and I say, that's great. So I just have a few questions for you. In order to help evaluate your situation, I have a few questions for you to answer. If you have a spouse or partner that will be purchasing with you, please answer for both parties. What do you do for a living? What is your income? What is your current credit score? How much do you have saved for a down payment? And are you a veteran, or are you currently on active duty? So with these questions, I tell them, this will help me guide you to the right lender. Some people will have a worse credit score, which is when I send them to Natty. Natty is very good with lower credit scores or creative financing, and she pretty much gets everybody pre-approved. It's crazy, which is why I go with her. I swear to God, her underwriters at Bank of England Mortgage are like 95 years old and don't even look at the paperwork. It's amazing the amount of people that get pre-approved with her versus my other lender, which is Paul. Paul works better with people who have like a 700 credit score and above, or jumbo loans or luxury properties. So, you got to have a roster of vendors available to you. You need a CPA for people who haven't done their taxes but want to buy a house. You need a lender, you need a title company, you need all of these people who will talk you up when talking to your clients. I had a client message me the other day and just say, hey, I just want to let you know, everybody that you've sent me to has been absolutely amazing, and I can't even thank you enough for the people you've put me in contact with. So it's good to have all of those things available to you. And I see Alan. What's up, Alan? Welcome. So with all of these things in mind, you are going to start your 90 by 90 day plan. So this is, you are going to take at least one, preferably two, 90-minute sessions a day to work on your pillar that you want to do. So whether that's farming, whether that's open houses, I suggest you just be on the phones, cold calling, absentee owners, door knocking, doing anything on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook is really going to help your business. So let's say you pick Instagram Reels as your 90 by 90. You're going to spend 90 minutes a day making one reel per day. Okay. And in your binders, there is a page that shows you all of the ideas that you can do for real estate. Hold on, let me grab it. So this is your binder. There is a page in here called Realtor Social Media Content Ideas. Okay, these are all very simple ones for newer, inexperienced agents. So these are just how a buyer's agent helps you, what a buyer's agent does for you, wire fraud, what are the common scams. So for wire fraud, it'd be like, how title companies are always so diligent about telling you there's wire fraud or whatever. So people will break into your email, see that you're buying a house, and send you an email that looks like it's the title company saying, hey, send your EMD to this wire address or bank account number, and it will be a scammer. I have a story about a scammer too, which I will tell you guys in a second. Or what does a home warranty cover? Should you remodel before you sell? Reasons your home sale could fall out of contract. All of these things you guys know, and if you don't, you just ask me and I'll help guide you as to what information to put in that reel. I have a couple that are like, why do you need a home warranty? Or I even have a stupid one that's like how to jumpstart your car. And people loved it. So anything you guys want to make, just put it up on Instagram Reels and do it for 90 days. Okay, one that's very, very easy is pick out any vacant property that's around you, around your house. It'll only take 10-minute drive or whatever. Go make a video of it and make it into a reel and say, guess the price of this Las Vegas home. Okay, tell them the location, tell them the square footage and how many bedrooms and bathrooms. People will engage in that, and then your reel will be seen by more people. Now, what's the point of creating content on Instagram or anything? It is because we want to basically hand our business card to somebody every day. Sorry. So if you could hand your business card to somebody every single day, would you do it? I would. If you give them your Instagram and they see your stories every day and they're reminded every single day that you're in real estate, you're growing your sphere, and eventually people will start asking you questions. Now, it won't happen overnight. You won't get business from Instagram overnight. But if you start talking to leads, you start getting their Instagram when you talk to leads, just having conversations with them, and they see you and they're sitting in their, getting their hair done, and their hairdresser starts talking about their friend who's about to buy a house or whatever, give them your Instagram and they'll see that. And then once they start seeing that over and over, they're going to start referring you business. And then future clients who are just leads come to your Instagram and see that, they're like, oh, wow, they have a lot of content on real estate and they've taught me a lot. When you educate people, people come to you as an advisor. Advise me on how to buy a property. Advise me on how to make this work. I'm a first-time home buyer. What do I need? 20% down? No, you don't. That is the biggest myth. That's a great reel to start with. So you guys should all start with one reel. It should be, you do not need 20% to buy a property. Great one to start with. I suggest you all do it. So if you do end up picking two 90 by 90 pillars, one of them should be Instagram and one, or TikTok. TikTok is actually way better. I'm just old and I don't know how to use it. Or Instagram, and do that for 90 days in a row. And you will, first of all, feel amazing about yourself and have a ton of content to educate new clients. And second of all, you will start building a business Rolodex of people who come to you for questions and advising about real estate. Okay, story time. I don't know if you guys heard this, but I got a lead from a lead source called myagentfinder.com, and it was a piece of land in Boulder. The lady's name was Jill Besse, and she lived in Alaska, or she lives in Alaska, and she has a second home out here. She has 2 plots of land. She only called me about 1 though. So she wanted to sell her 1 plot of land, and this plot of land was in Boulder. It's gorgeous. I went and got $560 worth of video footage, photos, everything. It overlooks Lake Mead. It's right next to BLM land. It's great property. The driveway kind of from the neighbor's lot had an easement through the land, and it made me nervous about selling it. Well, this plot of land was worth about like $440,000. And she told me that she had trouble during COVID and she wanted to sell it. So we listed it for $250,000. So when I talked to her on the phone, she was this Asian lady, lived in Alaska. Her husband, I saw her husband was on title. So I asked her about her husband. I was like, hey, I need your husband to sign all the documentation too. She was like, great, gave me his email. So I ended up listing this property, and 2 days later, I get a phone call from a man who's the husband, who I'd never spoken with. And he says, hey, Lauren, I just want to let you know about that plot of land for sale. And I was like, oh, hi. He was like, I'm actually, I can't remember his name. Let's just say it's Bill Besse. And I want to raise the price to $1 million. And I was like, okay. And I started going into my whole, oh crap, now I'm talking to the husband and we need to adjust the price speech. And I was going to tell him all about why I don't think it can sell for that much, even though there's a plot of land at the end of the street that is worth $880,000. There's an easement, there's a driveway on the property. People can't build on it without removing that easement and that neighbor moving their driveway. And so I started going into that, and he goes, I'm just kidding. I'm Bill Besse, and I have no idea why you have my piece of land listed. I never gave you permission to list my piece of land, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, are you serious? And then I hear Jill, the real Jill in the background, his wife. And I say, is that Jill in the background? Because that is not what Jill sounded like. So the Jill I spoke with was Asian, Filipino, whatever, called me from an Alaskan number, which on the county assessor's website, they both lived in Alaska and it was registered to an Alaskan address, the property. So that all checked out. Basically what happened was somebody asked me to list somebody else's piece of land. And I fraudulently listed a piece of land. So I obviously just said my apologies. I was like, I'll take it off right now. Like I've never had this happen. Don't know what's going on. Is obviously somebody was a fraud. What can I do to make this right? And then he was just like, take it off the market. I was like, okay. So I tried to reach the fraud person. Fraud person isn't answering. I can't remove a property from the MLS without getting an MLS change form or cancellation or something, or I can get fined or in trouble. So I called the husband back and I say, hey, in order to legally remove this property, I need a cancellation paperwork. And he got pissed at me. He was like joking and thought it was like lighthearted, our first conversation. The second one was like, I'm not signing anything, blah, blah, blah. And then once he started yelling at me for that, I was like, okay, that sounds about right. You probably shouldn't sign anything because this was fraudulently listed anyways. So I ended up just taking it off the market, and I found out from the fraudster where they had opened a bank account in their name. I offered to up that information to the real owner. I said, here, they're stealing your identity. Here's the bank that they have a new account at that's under your name. You know, what else can I do? I paid $560 for these photos and videos and everything of your land. Here's all that for free. I'm so sorry this happened to you. And we took it off the market. And so it happens. Okay. You may have that happen to you. You may not. And how can we avoid this situation? There's really no way. Okay. Everything checked out, all their information checked out, short of like verifying their birth documents. Somebody who's living out of town trying to sell a piece of land. I've done it before in Pahrump. Everything was fine. It was the real owner. All their names checked out. So there's really nothing you can avoid by doing that. So anyways, that's just a funny story that happened to me lately. Let's go back to the 90 by 90 plan. Justin, do you have your hand up? Are you just saying hi?
No, I had so on your scripts, I've used those as well on Facebook several times. So I'll get them, most people say, yeah, they're not working with the lender. I send them that next one and then they ghost me. It's happened probably 5 or 8 times now.
Do they read the messages and then not respond?
It's that follow-up one when you're trying to vet them, when I need their answers of their income, if they're solely applying or applying with a spouse. At that point, for whatever reason, is when people ghost me, and then I'll follow up with them and they'll just read it.
Okay. So the
last one, I usually do the, have you given up after like a week or two? Mm-hmm. And then no one's even responded to that yet.
Yeah. Okay. So then that's when I say, do you have time for a quick phone call today?
Okay.
And then I just go straight to the phone.
I'm wondering if
faster we can get them on the phone, the better.
Yeah. I wonder if I should maybe do that, like at that, maybe vet them on the phone. I don't know, ask those questions just on the phone, maybe.
You can definitely do that too.
It seems like for whatever reason, I keep losing them, like right at that script for some reason.
Okay. Yeah. So then the next thing I do is I just say, do you have a time for a quick phone call today? Or would you like to see this property?
Okay.
Either get them belly to belly with you, shake their hand, get them, and get those answers in person, or you get them right on the phone and you'll be setting appointments.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So basically there are 6 ways to generate leads in real estate. No more, no less. Okay. So we have, and I'll put this all in the chat when we're done. So there's free outbound approach, unpaid outbound. Okay. And that's where you go and you contact people. There's paid outbound approach. Okay. That's number 2. Number 3 is through your sphere of influence. Number 4 is your referral partners. Number 5 is your free inbound, where people are contacting you. And number 6 is your paid inbound, which is the most expensive and is used when you have a $100,000 padded bank account and, more money coming in consistently. This is where you're at, the peak of your career and trying to get more business. So let's go over, I'll just put these in the chat right now. So basically you either spend your time or you spend your money. So sweat equity or money. And so from there, this is where you're going to pick your pillars from. So we have the unpaid or free outbound approach. Now, the pros of these are they are the most profitable, the most predictable. You can track how many calls it takes to get you an appointment. And it's the fastest way to new business. And it's also the most hustle, boots on the ground, get out there, get your face out there and start talking to people type of way to get business. But the great part about this is you have so much control over how much business you're getting. Okay, if you want to be on the phones every day, or if you want to be door knocking every day, and you start tracking, that's what these pages are for, guys, in this book, the daily calls pages. Okay, you need to be tracking how many calls you're making per day. Because if it gets to a point down the road when you're saying, I need more business, I need to pay my bills next month, how do I do that? And you know that it takes you 100 calls to get one appointment and 100 calls takes you 90 minutes, you're spending 90 minutes to get that next appointment. Now, if you know how many appointments it takes you to get a listing or a buyer, then you know exactly how many hours you have to be on the phone to get those listings and to get those buyers. So track so that you're accountable to yourself and accountable to your business. It will really, really help you guys. Okay. And it will help you see how much work am I doing and how much am I not? Because if you feel like, oh, I'm not getting business and, I don't know why, well, it's because you only made 50 calls in 2 days. Okay. And it takes you 100 calls to get one appointment or one contact or one hot lead. There's no magical answer. But 80% of your business should come from this unpaid outbound approach. Okay. And so this is where I do suggest that you newer agents who don't have as much business or don't have a big sphere of influence to start here. And you're a salesperson, you must treat this like a 9 to 5. You don't have to work exactly 9 to 5. You can set your own hours. If you have another job like Alan, he can work nights. He can make his 90-minute calls right after work and then, do open houses on the weekends. If you want to be getting more into real estate, you have to be tracking and accountable to yourself. Farming is another good one to start with. We've had many meetings with LaWanda from Ticor Title, and she keeps going over this farming app. It is so good, you guys. It is amazing. Get an area that you really want to sell to, do your open houses there, do your door knocking there, and do your phone calls to that area. If you triple hit those and you post ads on Facebook for those areas, you're going to get a ton of business in that specific area, and people are going to get to know you, and you're going to be the go-to in that area. Anthem Country Club has like just a few realtors who are the go-to realtors to sell everything in there. Spanish Hills is a little community where everybody kind of uses the same realtor because the neighbors talk. So if you do that with an area like Mountain's Edge, where there's a high turnover rate of people moving out of there, you will strike gold time and time again if you go deep and hard on this for 90 days, 90 minutes a day. So let's go over the paid outbound approach. This is more after you've kind of scaled your unpaid outbound approach. This is going to be like buying past clients gifts, doing pop buys, Google pay-per-click, or paying for ads. Okay, so that's only kind of if you have cash coming in and after you've scaled and you want to add only one more method every 9 to 12 months. But like I said, these are pillars. These are pillars of your business. You say my business comes from here and my business comes from here. And sometimes I'm working on a third pillar to add, when you get more established. But I want you guys to pick just one and just do it for 90 days, 90 minutes a day. We're going to form a habit and we're going to do it at the same time every day. We're going to put it into your schedule, and you guys are all going to report back to me about what happened that day or every other day, and just tell me how you had problems or what hiccups you ran into, and we'll go over them together. Okay, so the next one is going to be your sphere of influence. Now, I know that this is a pillar that I've picked for all of you guys, and you should never not have this as a pillar. And it might not be like, how many people do you guys know that are immediately ready to buy or sell a property right now? Not many, okay? It's going to take about 1.5 years to build up your SOI. And what helps build up your SOI? Your Instagram and your Facebook. If people you know in your sphere constantly see you posting stuff about what you're doing that day, teaching them things about the city, teaching them things about real estate, teaching them things about the transaction they're about to encounter or have encountered, or about a home warranty, people are going to recognize you and as an advisor, as somebody who they respect in the industry, who knows a lot of things, that they can just come, oh, they have a random question at 9 p.m, like their water heater bursts, and they know they have a friend or somebody on Instagram that just posted the other day about a home warranty and how it covers your water heater if it bursts. They're going to come to you and ask you about that. Okay. And then when you give them an answer and help them out, when you help people, people want to help you back. And people will be like, oh, I know a good realtor who knows a lot of things about real estate. They're going to refer their friends to you. So when I say sphere of influence, I'm not saying everyone you know, tell them to buy a house with you. I'm telling them, you to go to them and tell them, hey, I'm in real estate and I would love to help 10 more families this year. Who do you know that I can help? Then you get that person and their whole sphere. So it's like a web of a ton of people through your sphere of influence. So if that's what you want to go deep on, then go deep on that. Okay, the next pillar of business, or the next way to get business in real estate, is the referral partners approach. Now, I know I've put a script together for referral partners, and what I do is I go and I DM people on Instagram that I see doing great things with their Instagram in other cities. So if I see somebody's Instagram in Arizona, and you also want to pick the feeder cities. So our feeder cities are Phoenix, Arizona, Los Angeles, California, pretty much anything in California. We have people moving here from Texas, and there's websites like Redfin you can go to see what other cities. So go to those cities, see what the top realtors are doing in those cities with their social media. Okay. And all you have to do is like their first 6 posts and comment on things saying, wow, I really like what you did with this content. Then you message them either that day or a day later and say, hey, this is my approach. You guys don't have to use the same thing. Let me see if I can find my little script I have here. My referral pitch. I'll post it in the chat right now. So my referral pitch is kind of long. It says, hello, my name is Lauren Gontero. I'm a fellow realtor in Las Vegas. I wanted to reach out to you because I've been watching your Instagram and I love, and then it's blank because I want to mention something that I saw on their Instagram that I like. So I love that video of the house you did with the different angles and the transitions is really great. I'd really love for you to join my network. I don't have an agent in your area that I trust sending my clients to. Let me tell you a little bit more about it. My business comes primarily from my partner referral network that I built out during COVID. I have over 80 agents that I work with on a consistent basis across the US in all major cities. My referral structure is as follows. My first referral is 25 to 30% referral fee. Second one is 30%. Third one is 35, and fourth to eighth is 40. And this is on a year rolling basis. Now I do this to attract other agents. This is part of my sales pitch. How often do I have an agent that sends me more than one per year? It's never happened. But telling them that they can get a 40% referral to me keeps me top of mind over that other random agent that they sent a referral to the other, last year. Okay. And I've come across some people saying, oh my God, I love this structure. I've sent 3 referrals to Las Vegas in the past 2 years. I would have loved to have worked with you. And I'm like, okay, great. So keep me in mind. I put them in my KV core under Sphere. I tag them as Sphere, and then I put hashtag Realtor. So when I send out my newsletters or when I want to just get more referrals, I click filter on the CRM and it shows me all of the people who are hashtag Realtor. And then I send them out a little letter, or I'll send them this exact pitch again, just to remind them what I'm doing with my referral partner network. Okay, so that could be one of your pillars that you work on for 90 minutes a day. Next we have the referral partners is not just realtors. I forgot. Referral partners can be lawyers, probate lawyers. So I have a client right now who I've become actually really good friends with, and she is a lawyer, and she has all of these lawyer friends that I've asked her to put me in contact with so that I can get more business from them. So I have probate lawyers, I have divorce lawyers. I also can connect with insurance agents or CPAs. So anybody who's working with other people who buy and sell homes in any industry. Stephanie used to work at a bar, and before she quit, she built up her network of referral partners from, just handing out her card while she was working there. And now she has transitioned to full-time real estate. Okay, so the next approach would be the unpaid inbound approach. So this is where your content marketing, your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikTok, anything that is free for you to make or put out there or educate clients and also have them come to you. So this is where you're just sitting around waiting. You don't have that much control over it. It's just whenever anybody who sees you on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok is thinking about buying or selling a property or has a question about it, they come to you. So making that content again is super important. And then the last one we have is the paid inbound approach. Very few agents use this. It's very expensive. It's inconsistent. It is things like radios, billboards, TV commercials, paid Hulu commercials, stuff like that. And this stuff is big money, guys. I have friends who are spending $25,000 a month on billboards or radio or news, PR people to get them on the news, stuff like that. But here's the thing, okay? Bottom line, you cannot expect to get results if you are not consistent, okay? This is why we're going to be doing the 90 by 90 plan. You have to spend at least 90 minutes a day on something for 90 days to, first of all, form a habit, because you're going to be doing it for longer than 90 days. And second of all, to get business. Real estate is a contact sport. The more contacts you make, the more business you're going to do. Okay. I am tired by the end of the day. I don't want to talk to anybody because I am trying to talk to as many leads as I can all day long, any way I can. I go to the grocery store. I go to Starbucks. I'm talking to people about real estate. I'm asking them, what side of town do you live on? I'm just constantly promoting myself and constantly digging deeper. I know my business partner, Lee, when he lives in Florida, and whenever he travels, he likes to do Airbnbs, but he never gets his own space. He's like, I actually Airbnb'd somebody's couch the other day. I'm like, why would you do that? I would never do that. But he's like, well, get this, people who Airbnb want more Airbnbs. So he's actually gotten in a ton of conversations with new owners now that want to have more Airbnbs to make more money. And what do? They buy houses. So that's something that's worked for him. Anything that you guys are interested in, you guys can turn it into real estate, which is why I like to work one-on-one with everybody, because everybody has a different path or view on life and how they're going to get business. So it's really going to be individual for each and every one of you. Okay, so with all of that said, I'm going to put my messy notes that I wrote for my 90 by 90 day plan in the chat. So let's go one by one. Do you guys have an idea of what pillar you're going to choose? Justin?
Instagram ones.
Okay. So what are you going to do? Are you going to be doing educational videos, or do you want to be doing like walkthroughs, or are you just going to choose a bunch of them and start pumping them out?
That game idea.
Okay, awesome. I like it. It creates engagement, which will get you more views. All right, Joanna. Are you there?
Yeah, my service is bad. I think I want to do, I want to learn how to do Facebook ads, like make my own or Facebook web pages or whatever.
Okay, that'll work well because you're out of town.
Yeah.
So
But I
90
would love to
today.
do the Instagram too, because I'm good with that and I need to get reconnected with that. So I want to do real well.
So if you guys don't have another job or other responsibilities, you should be doing 2 90-minute sessions of working on these pillars a day. So you can either choose one or you can choose 2. Just do 2 90-minute sessions. All right, Steph, what are you going to make your pillar?
I really want to build up the referral network. I think that would be beneficial. And then I want to keep doing my Instagram and Facebook ads and stuff and be a lot more like educational, because I do get people that reach out, and I have some people that I'm working with that just aren't quite ready, but they will be in like the next year or so.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I liked the idea of like getting like the lawyers and CPAs and all that stuff. So I'm also in touch with a lot of solar people.
Yeah, I was going to say your bread and butter should be coming from building out that solar referral network where people, you can either pay them to give you the leads. You can, I mean, start low, say, I'll give you $1 a lead or something like that, or something in return, and tell them, say, hey, if you're ever door knocking and somebody says, no, I'm about to move soon, definitely have them write down that address, go door knock those people and get that listing.
Yeah, for sure.
Get your door hangers made.
I have some.
Okay, cool.
I've gone and walked a few neighborhoods not too far from my house, so I can, I've put them on there, and I have my son help me as well.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, Justin.
I'm gonna continue cold calling. I haven't had a whole lot of success with it yet.
Okay.
And then I've known that I need to build up the Instagram and do reels more. It's just one of those things that like, I just don't like doing it, but I need to force myself to do it.
Yeah.
I don't really have much real estate content on my social medias at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's not as fun for me to make that kind of content, but I need to force myself to do it.
It should be like 60-40. So 60% either personal or real estate, 40% the other, whichever one you want to do. People work with people they like, know, and trust and have something in common with. So like my stupid video about jumping a car and teaching people how to jump a car, people loved it. It got me engagement and it got people to know my quirky, funny personality at that moment in time and see me for who I am. And then my next post is about real estate, or my next post is teaching them about something in Vegas, like a nice restaurant that I like, or something. But get your face out there, show them who you are and what you do on a daily basis so you can relate to them. Now, when we have a lead that we have nothing in common with, like I've had some really awkward just clients in general where we go out and we have nothing, I can't understand their accent and I don't know their nationality because I'm colorblind. I don't really care about that or anything. So I have nothing to talk to them or relate to. Now, Tamar, who's a top realtor in our brokerage, she is the only one who sells more houses than me a year at Winning Realty. And I've gone on showings with her because we were really, really close when Winning Realty opened. Her husband was stationed in Japan. So I was helping her, just whatever. We hung out a lot. And I would go on some showings with her and she knew everybody's nationality. Like she would be like, oh, are you Persian? And then she could go on and on about Persians. Or she would be like, oh, are you from India? And then she would go on and on about things in India. And I'm just like, how do you even know that they're Indian or Persian? She's like, I can tell by their last name. I would never be able to tell. I have no idea. But that's her thing. Okay. So if she can relate to clients in that way, she's gone deep on that network and she actually speaks 2 other languages too. So she knows exactly what to say to them, and it has brought her a wealth of business. She was a year ahead of me. She had only had one more year in real estate than I had when I met her, and we started working together. So just things like that. And then those people, all of her business now, I remember when she only had 15 transactions a year. She has over 40 now. And most of her clients come from her past clients. Why? Because she can relate to them. She's made that relationship with them, and she has something in common with them. And I'm sure she calls them once a month, like you're supposed to call your past clients, just to see how everything's going. How are the kids? What's going on with the house? Has your water heater gone out? Stuff like that. What can I help you with? Are you looking for a doctor? Do you need somewhere great to get your hair cut on your side of town? Relate to these people. Give them what they want and what they need. And you will definitely get a wealth of business from that. All right, guys. So with this, I really implore you guys to figure out your strategy, figure out your action steps. So in your binder on the pillars page, there will be pillar and then action steps. Figure out your action steps that it's going to take for you to spend these 90-minute sessions, 2 90-minute sessions a day, and go deep on your pillar. And I promise you, in 90 days, we will all, have either a ton of leads or business in the pipeline. I know I have a lot of people right now that I'm talking to that are buying in February next year, but they're buyers. I'm going to have a great pipeline for next February. Okay. So go out, meet people, get that business, report back to me, bounce your ideas off of me. Tell me where you're struggling. Tell me where it's working. And I'll help you expand on that and go forward and get way more business in the future. Now, do you guys have any questions about anything or any stories? Steph, do you have any stories about your listing? What's going on there?
No, not really any stories, but I don't know, I've had them paint it, they got their carpets clean, they're gonna get the grout clean, just kind of spruce it up a little bit. But I don't know what to do at this point, just keep waiting.
So this, guys, this is her listing that was originally listed for $575. She's now dropped it significantly to $540.
Yeah.
And so feedback, you always want to get feedback from people who are showing. I know when I go show houses, I'm so annoyed when all of these agents are calling me and I have 2 more houses to show. They're like, I need feedback. But when the feedback came from these realtors, the clients were saying the carpet is disgusting, the grout is dirty, and now that we're in this type of market, sellers need to do a little bit more to their house to get it sold for the maximum amount of money. So she has relayed that information to her client. They're going to temporarily take it off the market, get those things done, and put it back on fresh. Hopefully the ticker will reset for days on market. And they're going to have to go from there. And they're going to have to be realistic about the price and timeline that it's going to take to sell their property.
Okay. Should I get new photos, or do you think I should just take a couple myself? Because I have a really.
I actually looked at the photos and I couldn't really tell that there was anything wrong with the carpets or anything. Could you?
Went through recently and removed any that looked like there was anything wrong with the carpets or anything that just wasn't flattering. I went through and took a bunch down.
Okay, so another thing you can do, maybe is a little cheaper, is find somebody who can edit the photos in Photoshop and just make them a little bit brighter. But obviously spending the least amount of money possible is great. If they're going to completely change the carpet, then yes, I do suggest getting new photos. But I didn't see really anything that was too alarming that would make me go, oh, I don't think we should see this property.
Okay, do you have anyone that can Photoshop maybe just the color of the walls? Because they did paint those back to white.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah, we've already done all this. So
yeah, maybe we can reach out to Virtuance, or there might be somebody in the, I know that Randy knows a photo enhancing service.
Okay.
So maybe we can get them on the horn and see what's going on there.
Randy definitely knows one. It's cheap too. The last
really?
one was that he was talking about they're in Vietnam or something like that.
Okay,
But
cool.
yeah, it'll cost you nothing.
Okay. Could they remove furniture from the rooms and stuff too?
Yeah, they do virtual staging. They'll remove stuff. They can do all that. It's cheap too.
You can even ask Redgan first to see what type of work he can do.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll definitely do that. Yeah, I like that idea better than going and taking new photos. So
Yeah.
okay.
The question I had with that, so in her case, I know you'll still be able to see it in the history, but like say, just because it has sat there a while, if she got new photos or got these retouched or whatever, is it possible to take it off the MLS for a day, 2 days, whatever, and then relist it so it comes as like a new listing?
So if you withdraw unconditional, it should reset the timer. Now, Steph tried to take it off before and then relist it, and it came back with the same amount of days on market.
That was like, if you could get rid of that days on market, that should at least, I don't know.
I mean,
Might not make people
I've
think
done
that,
it. I
why
know
is
that the
taking so long,
MLS,
though?
they changed the way that things work. So earlier earlier last year, what would happen is if people went under contract, or if people took things off the market and put them back, if people were under contract, the days on market would still tick. So say you went under contract on day 1 and fell out on day 15, it would come back on the market as 15 days on market. Now the timer stops if you go under contract or have anything happen. And then it, even if it was under contract for 15 days, it'll say 2 days on market when it goes back on. At the same time, they changed it so that when you take it withdrawn and then put it back on under the same licensee, it also doesn't reset, or sometimes it doesn't. Now, one agent who I know can do this very successfully and does it all the time is Enzo Varela. He takes his flips off the market all the time and then puts them back on with a new timer. So I know it's possible. We got to figure out how. And I think it's through the withdrawn unconditional. It can't be conditional.
Okay.
All right, guys, any other questions before you start your 90 by 90? Hey, Siri, what date is 90 days from today? December 1st. Okay, so you guys should all have at least some really, really hot leads by December 1st, or a really built up Instagram, so that when you're on the phones, you can refer people to your Instagram. Before people hang up the phones, everybody you talk to, you just say, hey, by the way, do you have an Instagram? I'd like to support you and your business, or whatever business you have, and you can learn from the real estate content that I post. Even if you're not buying, let's just follow each other. Okay. So do that with all your people, all the contacts you make. Any more questions or stories?
No. Thank you.
All right, guys, have a great
Thank
day,
you.
and I'll see you next Friday.
Bye.
Bye.